All right, internet, you didn't ask for it, but we're giving it to you anyways. It's a Yamaha gp1200 versus a Yamaha fxho. For me, it is kind of an interesting comparison because this is kind of like the 2-stroke or 4-stroke that you may commonly find for sale on Craigslist. It's a Yamaha gp1200 versus a Yamaha fxho. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Just get it started up and idle it. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's try it from about 35. Let's start from at 35 miles per hour. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Interesting insights here into the fxho versus the gp1200, and I've always got my Star Wars tee on. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got plenty of these things, and you can't go wrong with Star Wars unless you're talking about the newer movies, but that's a different subject. So what we got here is a 1997 gp1200, not the absolute pinnacle of the two-stroke era, but not the pinnacle of the two-stroke era. For Yamaha, that would have been the GP1200R or 1300R model. But this was the best from the late 90s. So, not the top of the two-stroke, but pretty high up there. The best engine they made that wasn't a power valve engine. And then on the other hand, we got the fxho. It's a 2006. Or some people might call it an FX160 because it denotes the 160 horsepower as opposed to the regular FX model, which was like a 140 horsepower. But anyways, this is kind of obviously not the pinnacle of the 4-stroke era because that hasn't even come to an end yet. So it is an interesting, for me, it is kind of an interesting comparison because this is kind of like the 2-stroke or 4-stroke that you may commonly find for sale on Craigslist. And we just happen to have them both, so we put them up head to head. We're going to do drag racing with them. I already have done lap times on these. I guess somewhere that'll be available. But what I found really interesting on these is clearly the GP1200 is winning every drag race we have here, but if we kept going for long enough, the FX would overtake it because it's a couple miles per hour faster at the very top end. But the initial throttle response, the FX actually has that half a second in the very bottom end, like the first half second in the drag race when we're hitting the throttles there. The FX actually accelerates quicker, and I believe that's just throttle response, probably due to the fuel injection as opposed to the carburation of the GP1200. And then clearly the GP1200, once it gets going, it just kind of jumps out of the water and pulls way out on the FX. And mainly I would bet that's due to the huge weight advantage that the GP1200 has over the much heavier FX. And handling wise, the FX is better for sure, but that's just purely due to a newer hull design. And in the lap times, I have for the lap time section, you can see that I have a little bit better time on the GP1200. But when I did the FX lap time, I just hopped on it, didn't practice, just went for it. So I believe there could have been maybe 1 to 1.5 seconds I could have done better on the FX. So I think the FX could do a better lap time. But either way, it is what it is. If for some reason you're trying to choose between these two to purchase for yourself, honestly, they're both a lot of fun. If you're gonna do more like cruising, like long distance riding, the FX is probably the way to go. A bit more comfortable, a bit larger. If you want to do a bit more play riding type stuff, you know, like spinning around and just messing around, the GP might be a better one for that. But basically, if I was to have to pick one to buy, I would just pick whatever one was in better condition overall, as opposed to like picking one over the other. So like either one in really good condition is a lot better than the other one in bad condition. And that's probably true of just about any jet ski really that you're going to buy. Unless you like doing projects like we do for some reason.
All right, let's try it from a roll. I gotta get out of this seat. Let's do another one. Alright, I guess we're just gonna keep riding.
better cruiser, like a long trip type of thing, more storage, larger, better top speed, and the GP better of a play ride type of thing, you know, like spinning around, goofing around, that sort of thing. But I guess to pick a clear winner here, I would have to go with the GP1200. That being that it has way better acceleration. It won on the lap times. I mean, kind of jadedly, because I think the FX has a better lap in it. It's cheaper to buy them. It's cheaper to work on them. So, all in all, we're gonna have to give it to the GP1200 on this one.